What is up, YouTube? We are live, back at you again with another tutorial. Today we're going to be going over The Lord Will Provide by Passion. Now, I've played this maybe 3 months ago, I think. No, maybe it was longer than that. Maybe 6 months ago. And it didn't seem like this song was, I guess, hitting back then, but now it seems like more people are playing it. So I figured I'd go over the song, do a tutorial. I already have a POV version, if you're curious about that. I strap a GoPro to my head, and then I'll just play through the whole song, add some stuff. I'll try to play the actual lead parts as well, like I would normally play it. And then I'll put in a little extra. Obviously, I'm at home. I'm not on stage or in front of a congregation or anything. So I usually play out a little bit. But I actually went back and I tabbed out all of the parts that I heard in all of the guitar stems. So if you're curious about that, I have the link in the description of the YouTube video. And I have basically, it's a free, for example, Passion course that has all of the tabs and tutorials that you can want for Passion. Same thing goes for Elevation, Bethel, all of that. So the link to the tabs in this one is in the description below, and you'll be able to find the other free tabs to the other bands and stuff. So we're going to break this down. Here is, let me switch my camera angle here. We good? This is my guitar tone. I'm using the Praise You Anywhere patch. I don't have a specific Helix patch for this, but I'm just using the Brandon Lake patch that I created. So Praise You Anywhere. The clean tone with the extra reverb and stuff sounds like this. Okay. We're in 6/8, and let me head over to my notes here. We're in 6/8, key is B major, 68 BPM. That is crucial for your delays and stuff. So I'm just going to be using, you could have probably guessed it, dotted eighth delay. And then let me get this to 68. 6/8, 68 BPM. So let's go over the first chorus. That's where that first lead line comes in. And this is where you come in with the super ambient reverby sound. And it goes over chorus 1. So I'll play that for you right now. Got it? So that's going over the chorus, like I said, and let me go over the notes for you. So it's going to be a slide. We're in B major. It's going to be a slide from the 6th to the 8th fret on the G string, and then a slide down back to the 6th fret, and then slide up to the 9th fret. Then it's going to be 13 to a slide to the 11th. Play that again. And then you could do a slide up from the 8th to the 9th. Then here's the next chord here. It's on the 9th fret, D and B strings. Then it's a walk up. That walk up is 9, 11, 12 on the B string. So that's going to be chorus 1. And reminder, I'm going to put the timestamps if you're watching this after the fact. We do a little bit of hang time, Q&A at the end. I'm going to be putting in the timestamps all throughout this video, so you can skip around if you want. So that was chorus 1. And then chorus 2, it kind of picks up a little bit, and there's a cool picking part. And I'm here to show that to you. So it's going to be a slide. So let me go over that for you guys. It's going to be a slide from the 6th to the 8th again. But this time you're going to be doing a picking pattern with the open B string. Now, if you play this in a different key, you might have some troubles playing this part with that open B string. The good news is if you go up the fretboard, you could capo and then maintain that low B string for you. But it's going to be a shape on the 8th fret on the G string and then 7th fret on the high E string. And then let me play that picking pattern for you slowly without like the delays and reverb and stuff. So it's going to be... Feel free to like add a swing to it a little bit because we're in 6/8. So that's the first shape. Then a slide down to the 6th. And then 6th fret E string as well. And then take that whole shape up to the 9th fret. So I'll play that picking pattern slowly. Okay. Then that last part is going to be 13th fret G string. And that's going to be just the G string and the B string. Just alternating that. And then a slide down to the 11th fret. So I'm going to play that one more time with effects. Okay. That's like chorus 2. It's kind of like that like mid dynamic. It's not super down, but it's also not like the biggest part of the song yet. So the last thing I'm going to go over are going to be the chords for the slide guitar, but the big choruses. Eventually what you're going to want is one of these guys. Eventually what you're going to want is one of these guys. I'm using just a glass slide. I don't really have a huge preference. I used to have like more of a brass. I don't really know a whole lot about slides, but yeah, I just figured out what works for me. So I'm going to show you the actual shapes that are being used first and kind of tell you what the chords are so that you can kind of play around with these. The slide part, as the song like progresses, it starts, obviously you want to follow the chord progression, but feel free to get kind of creative with these. So I'm going to show you the shapes first before I go through the actual like chorus pattern. So let me take my wet effects off. So let me just go over the shapes for you. They're all bar chords. They're like A-shaped bar chords. We're in standard tuning. This is the first one. This is just a bar on the 4th fret. That's your B. And if you're not familiar with playing slide, it took me a long time to figure this out when I was first starting the guitar. You want to be touching the strings at the fret. So when you play the strings, you play in between the frets. But you want to hover over the nearest fret. And that's how you get your pitch. So I'm calling it the 4th fret. Because if you were to fret it, it would sound like that. So 4th fret is your 1 or B major. And then your 11th fret, same shape. It's your D, G, and B string. Didn't mention that. That is your F sharp or your 5. So just move that shape down to the 9th fret. That is going to be your 4 or your E major. So, and then the last thing I want to go over, actually there's 2 shapes, is your octave. It's back to your 1 again, but the octave up of that is on the 16th fret. So you can alternate, and I want to give you like the freedom to do this. Like, for example, if you're playing the 1, you can either choose this or this, depending on where you're at, and you can actually use kind of some creative freedom there. And then the last thing, If you really wanted to get crazy, you could do, what is that, the 21st fret? That's your 4. It's your E. Or if you wanted to go up and get the 5, that would be like, what, your 23rd fret? So you have to use kind of your ear to get that right. But if the song's really big, you got effects going on, like you can kind of like, there's some tricks that I kind of learned with playing slide. Obviously, you want to be on pitch as much as possible, but if you're kind of doing this like super big energy part, you can kind of like get crazy with the vibrato, and then it doesn't really, you don't really have to like find the pitch perfectly. I can give you an example of that. So those are all of the shapes that I wanted to go over. And then as far as tone, let me switch over and add some distortion and stuff. So here's kind of what a big chorus would sound like. See what I'm doing with the vibrato there? If you kind of hover the vibrato, you can kind of, you don't have to like, because there's a tendency to be a little sharp or flat, but if you kind of add some vibrato in it, it actually adds to the pitch, and it doesn't like, and you can kind of get crazy with it because it matches the feel of the part. It also helps to kind of bend almost into the note, into the pitch from behind the flat, so you're going flat to pitch. There's a couple ways there. And then you can even like jump octaves too. You can go. And then what I was saying up here, add in the vibrato. So you can kind of get crazy with it because the song kind of calls for that. You can also pick those notes. So this is like one of those things where you kind of take creative liberty, and I just want to give you some options of what you can kind of do here. And then there's another thing too that I think I play in the POV playthrough version, and I think it might be in the actual recording, but it's adding like the 4, the 3, and the 1, adding those single notes there. So again, that's at your 1, your B major chord on the 16th fret. And then it's just adding on the B string, adding the 17th fret. So in context, it would sound like this. Like that. So what I was just playing there was the chorus progression. So it's going to be 1, which is your B, 5, 4, and then you stay on the 4. That's your. And then you could slide up back to the 11. So there's that. And then the last thing I want to go over is happening at the end of the song. There's a flat 7 is what we call it. And it's during the tags. So let me see if I can get it in context. So basically, this is a shape that I haven't gone over before. This is, again, the flat 7, which in the key of B is A major. So that's happening on the 2nd fret. And this only happens once in the song, so you got to make sure you hit it. So it's at the very, very last time, the last tag of the ending of the song. So it goes 2nd fret, 9th fret, 4th fret. And that's the ending of the song. So that is The Lord Will Provide. And then the same thing goes to, like, now that you know where all the frets are, the numbers of the chords, you just kind of apply that same, because I know it goes back into the bridge at the end of the song. Just apply that same technique to the shapes to the bridge. And it's kind of the same thing. So that is The Lord Will Provide by Passion. What up, William? Great to see you. So now is the time for hangs, Q&A, whatever. So it looks like we're actually live over here on TikTok too. What up, TikTok? We'll be releasing a Helix patch for the Elevation song Washed. Is that new or old? Washed. Oh, Rhythm. Elevation Rhythm. Oh, it is new. It's like crazy new. Yeah, let me hear this. I have to do more Elevation Rhythm stuff. Oh yeah, I've heard this song. It's got like a Fender-y sound to it. Let me change my. Yeah, I've totally heard this song. I just haven't gotten around to like actually breaking it down, like learning it. I'm gonna be honest. If the are you still here? Let me pause the song. Yeah, you're still here. Honestly, that is basically, if I were to make a patch for that, I would start with my 1975 patch. Very not worship sound, but it sounds great for that. It's like that chorusy, clean guitar tone. I would start there. So if you're really desperate for getting a patch that sounds like that, I would consider trying out the 1975 patch. It's literally that. I don't think I have it on my computer right now, but I don't think I have it in here. But yeah. That's a fun one. That hits that like chorusy clean stuff. So yeah, you want to hear praise? It's always a good one. Let me get the preset. Where is it? That's the clean. Oh, here it is. That's a fun little lead line. That's a fun little patch. I like that one. Sweet. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, I'm going to have to catch you on the next one. This tone sounds funny on a Strat. What pedal do I use? I use a Helix. Can I play I Know a Name? I forgot what key it's in. What key is that in? Oh, I think, is it in, I think it's in C. I don't know if I have that patch on here, but. Wait. You want to hear I Know a Name? Something like that. I'm using the praise patch right now. Do I prefer Telly or Strat for worship? That is the age-old question. Actually, I started on a Telly. And it's right here. I need to change the strings out on it. Probably does not sound very good. But this is the one I started on for the longest time. And then I'm going to be honest, I think if I were to choose between a Telly and a Strat, I think my perfect combination is a Nashville style Telly. I really like the 3 pickup option, and I like the combination. It cleans up really nice. Here. I just love that like Strat sound. But I like the stability of Telecasters, because obviously the Telecasters don't have all the springs and stuff. This Strat is actually blocked off, so it's really, really stable. Before, I used to have it floating before I had my Charvel, and that one's always set to floating, so I figured I'd at least just block this one off, and if I want to do the floating bridge stuff, I'll just use the Charvel. I know, yeah. I haven't really played around with the, what is it, the John Mayer PRS, but I just always assumed that John Mayer was mad at Fender for something, and then their deal fell through, and then they just recreated a Strat. The 1975 patch, I don't remember, like $6 or something, $6 or $7. But oh yeah, the Blue Sky or whatever. Let me get, where's my 1975 patch at? Let me see if I can get it and play through it so you can hear it. I really like that patch. I haven't messed with it in a while. Yeah, let me get this. I think what happened was when I switched over computers, I used to have a bunch of patches on my Helix. I'm playing through Helix Native right now. And I used to have everything on it until I switched computers. And now I have to re-download patches. I haven't played through the 1975 patch in a while. Here, let me download it. And let me drop it in. And we'll see what it sounds like. Right out of the box. Oh, you know what? There's 2 patches in there. Yeah. Oh, maybe not. There's only one. Yeah, there's only one. My computer just named it because apparently it was already on my computer. So here. We went from a worship tutorial to the 1975. Oh, man. So it's got a lot of like chorus stuff on it. I'm running my guitar through my computer. So I have just like a studio speaker. I'm gonna be honest. One of my studio speakers went out, and there's just one down there, but it's just so that you guys can hear it on TikTok. But people on YouTube are hearing it direct. So there's that song. So this kind of has that like kind of that 80s, I don't know, sound. It's got like one of their lead sounds in it. Super weird lead tone. There's that. What key is this on? So there's that one. So there's a lot of variety. I tried to get as much as I could out of it. I don't even know if I'm playing these right. It's been so long. What advice would you give for someone trying to learn worship guitar style as a beginner? As a beginner, I would try to find your top 5 favorite worship. I guess it doesn't have to be worship guitar players. Your top 5 favorite guitar players and copy everything that they do note for note as much as possible. You know, particularly the ones that have a lot of footage, live footage, or songs that they've recorded, and just try to copy their songs as much as possible. And then also try to learn, if you're trying to specifically to get better at worship guitar, I would just really take a deep dive and start learning songs as much as possible. Learn the songs note for note, but then also really study the guitar pedals, because the guitar pedals in worship and the amps do most of the work. It's just kind of the name of the genre. But do I recommend a Helix or a Stomp? I recommend a Helix. If you're gonna go line 6 and you don't have like other pedals and amps and stuff that you prefer, I recommend going Helix, because you get essentially double the amount of processing as a HX Stomp if you're trying to only do that. Yes, I do have worship guitar tutorials. I do a lot of them. So I try to stay current. Try to do at least one a week. And then also I'm talking to the TikTok people, I do put stuff on TikTok, my POV stuff. So it's literally a GoPro pointing directly at the guitar from a guitar player's perspective. That should help you kind of learn some stuff if you're trying to pick up some licks here and there. I try to make them a little bit interesting and adding my own like riffs and stuff to it, just because I'm at home. I'm not like playing in front of a congregation or anything. In front of a congregation, it'd be a little busy. But when it's at home for a video, I already have to practice the songs anyway. Now, that is another thing for the guy that was wanting to learn worship guitar. Always try random stuff out, random riffs, licks at home when you're practicing. If you play with a team, obviously practice all of the lead parts to the song as much as possible, because at the end of the day, the people, especially your worship leader, pastor, wants you to play the lead parts, and that's memorable to the song. But then also practice at home, trying to add your own licks and stuff. Try to write melodies, stuff that you hear in your head, and try to get them on the guitar. And try a bunch of that stuff out at home, and then begin to condense as you get to a live environment. Because when you're in a live environment, obviously you're not going to be, especially in worship, it can be distracting if you're just shredding all over the place. And yeah, but that's also a good challenge for you to get better. And then you just keep the stuff that worked and then play it live. Just got requested to play Might Get Loud, so I'm about to have some fun with that. Yeah, that's a good song. I don't think I've ever gotten requested to play that one live. That would be fun to play live. Yep, the cage system. It's weird because I learned the cage system way late. And by that point, I already knew everything that was on the fretboard as far as like scales, like the major scale, minor scale. And I kind of had a different approach to it. But like the cage system helps when finding, chord shapes and stuff. I know people that like try to solo off of the cage system, but that's a little, by this point, I'm like too far gone at this point. Yeah, definitely got to know your scales, but that's why I challenge you to like try to learn songs and phrasing and melody and stuff, because if you practice the scales too much, too often, you'll start to lose the musicality of your playing. And that is the dance that is learning an instrument. It's like you're supposed to sit down and like have a practice regiment, learn the scales, practice your technique, your alternate picking, all of that. But then the tendency is always you just want to play fast because you start getting good at playing fast, and then you lose the melody of things and like phrasing and all of that stuff. Like that's where it's always a struggle. Do I enjoy playing with multiple effects or with a pedal board setup? Are you talking like analog pedals? Because I don't know if you're just joining, but I use a Helix. I swap between patches and stuff, but I don't really mess around with analog pedals. I'm kind of one of those weird kids that thankfully our church, when I was in junior high, had the old pods, the Pod HD5. The Pod X3 Live was the first one that my church had, and then I bought a Pod HD500X, and then I went to the Helix. So I've always kind of been in that modeler game. But I do respect, there are a lot of like pedals that are dope, and obviously playing through a real amp feels good. But what do you tell people about drumming? Oh, that's what I tell people about drumming. You can learn 4/4, but don't stick to it because yeah. Yep. I agree. What's up, David? I don't know if you're still watching. I'm live on TikTok and YouTube, so I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth between just people commenting and stuff. So, appreciate you tuning in. fun patch. Quad Cortex or Helix. I haven't played with a Quad Cortex, but I like how compact it is. Don't have one. But I thought about maybe buying one. You want a Lincoln Brewster riff. What song do you want? I don't know if the guy's still in here I told him to literally try to copy note for note 5 different guitar players. Lincoln Brewster was one of those guys for me. What Lincoln Brewster song you want? Do I want that one or do I want Miraculum? The Miraculum patch. Let's see if I remember it. I forgot the song. Oh, that's what it is. Something like that. I love that patch. That sound. Oh. I don't have the capo for reaching for you, but. I haven't played that solo in a long time, but there's that one. Really putting me on the spot, but I like Lincoln Brewster stuff, so it's always fun to go back in time. Remember that one? If you really wanted to go back. There's that one. Yep. That's a fun one. Is anybody else practicing for this yet? That's a fun one. Am I posting any solos from the Lincoln Brewster latest album? I'm going to be honest. I think I'm more of a fan of his older stuff. Yeah. There was one that I did a while ago, and I think it was maybe Surrenders. I Surrender. He did a... That one was cool. I don't remember it much. It's probably been like 3 years. I learned that when that one came out. That was fun. But yeah, I learned a lot of his like older stuff from back in the day. So well, appreciate you guys hanging out. And yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime. Trying to do these live streams a little bit more often. So if you would like to be a part of the live stream at some point, I try to schedule those out so you'll be able to see them on the channel. And you can click the link to be notified. And also if you're subscribed, then you'll probably get notified as well. So if you're watching this after the fact, we'd love to have you live on the next one. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.